Hello, my friends, and thank you for visiting my channel again. So, I finished reading this amazing book by Dale Carnegie that deals with interpersonal relationships, and I wanted to share with you an important conclusion I had regarding relationships, and that is how to make your wife happy. In the book, Carnegie gives some brilliant advice, which is quite simple and daily, but super important for maintaining a relationship. Ingenious in my eyes precisely because of its simplicity. There is no magic trick here, neither grandiose gesture nor something you didn't know already, and that's what makes it so amazing. So let's get started. First of all, and this is the most important thing, show courtesy. All our lives, we have been taught to be polite towards strangers, whether it is to guests who come to visit, a waitress, or to service personnel, but no one has taught us to be polite to our family members. And it is true, sometimes there are disagreements and misunderstandings and quarrels, but there is a way of saying things. No man would ever think of screaming at his colleague or boss at work if they annoyed him. He would find a more pleasant way to say things and manage the crisis, because he knows that work is important to him. He will be present there every day, among these people, and it is not worth it to blow up the relationship due to any misunderstanding, as big as it may be. But the same man can easily yell at his wife for the smallest reasons. This does not mean you should keep quiet if something bothers you. The opposite. It is healthy to talk about things. Just do it politely and have a focused discussion without insulting, shouting, or trying to hurt intentionally. After all, part of being an adult is self-control. Imagine you live in a world where no one has control over their emotions, and anyone who gets upset can behave intuitively, shout, or turn tables. No one wants to live in such a place, right? Surely you know who has lack of control over emotions. Dogs and babies. They behave intuitively. That's why they can lie on a supermarket floor crying out because they want chocolate. Also, pee on the carpet. Seriously, you've grown up. And, even verbal violence is considered severe violence and can hurt for the long run. You can still respect each other even in the middle of a fight. Second thing, it's true you are married and feel comfortable with each other and everything, but still, respect one another's privacy. No man thinks of opening his neighbor's envelope if it accidentally reaches him, or going through his friend's phone without them knowing, but he could do this to his wife or family without even feeling he is intruding their privacy. And it's wrong no matter how hard you try to justify it. Trusting each other is the right and healthy thing to do. And before you rage in comments, I am not generalizing. It's clear that not all men are like that, and it is also clear that there are women who behave this way. It is important to clarify here one point. If your wife and family are happy, you yourself will be happy. Because the home is the most important thing in this life. It can be a source of peace, warmth, and unconditional love, from which one can draw loads of strength to any other area of life. But it can also be a source of sadness and frustration. In the book, Carnegie gives examples of many famous people like Napoleon III, Leo Tolstoy, and Abraham Lincoln, who had it all, including insane fame, but did not get along at home with their wives. Therefore, they lived miserable lives despite all their achievements. Turgenev, the great Russian writer, once wrote, "I would give up all my talent and all my books if there was a woman somewhere out there who would care if I was late to return home for dinner or not." Home is the most important thing for happiness, tranquility, mental health, and even our general health. Not less important than work, friends, or any other aspect of life. I would even say more important. And especially there, we give ourselves permission to behave naturally. And precisely there, we allow ourselves to rely only on luck. Most of us do not invest in work or thought to establish and deepen the relationship. Think about it. You study for several years at university, reinvesting every day in your work, above and beyond, trying to prove yourself over and over again. But when it comes to relationship with your wife, especially after marriage, it's a matter of luck and nothing else. Although this is what will actually bring you happiness, even more than your career and achievements, so invest in it too. One more small thing you can do to improve your relationship is to give compliments. It seems to you negligible or obvious that you like the gestures she makes for you, the food she cooked for you. Not complaining does not mean you are happy. A woman must know that her husband appreciates her and appreciates what she is doing for him. And if you find that she dressed up in a nice and attractive way, please simply give her a compliment. Carnegie says that when his grandmother was in the hospital at the age of 98, shortly before she died, they showed her an old picture of herself 30 years ago. She could not see it clearly, but the only question she asked was, "What dress was I wearing?" An elderly woman in her last days, with a fading memory that she could not even recognize her own daughters, is still showing interest in the dress she wore over 30 years ago. So if somehow you missed out or didn't know, women are pretty much interested in fashion and clothing, and a small compliment by you won't hurt. Tell her how beautiful she is in the new dress she bought. In general, it is very important to give a compliment when your spouse does something you like. Now it's important to make a point here. A compliment must be honest. You cannot compliment something you don't like, because your spouse will feel that you are just flatterers or hypocrites. Learn to simply look at the good sides of your partner and put it into words. Another point. It's true. Criticism is a super important thing. You can criticize when you need to, but you have to learn how to give constructive feedback correctly, and you must not do it all the time. For that, I refer you to read his book. In general, do not try to reshape your spouse. If you don't like someone to the extent you must criticize him and try to change him 24/7, simply do not marry him. And for God's sake, when was the last time you bought her flowers? It's not expensive, and it's also not rare. It can be found on every street corner, and has always been considered a symbol of love and appreciation. But given the rarity with which the average American man brings back home a bouquet of daffodils, one might think these flowers are as precious as gold. Why wait until she's sick or it's Valentine's Day to bring her a flower bouquet? Why not tomorrow night? Believe me, she would really appreciate it. Women also give great importance to birthdays, anniversaries, etc. With today's technology, you do not even have to memorize dates, just write down reminders. These are all small but super important gestures. Judge Joseph Sabath from Chicago, who dealt with 40,000 disputes between husbands and wives, says the reason for most disputes between spouses is usually such a small matter, such as the good morning a man is supposed to say to his wife before leaving to work. That would have prevented many divorces. The number of marriages that have fallen apart due to a great tragedy is small. If you sat in the divorce courtroom every day and listened to the testimonies of these unfortunate men and women, you would be present to know that love had faded away by such small things. Many men do not evaluate the importance of these small gestures, the daily gestures, the bouquet of flowers, the expression of gratitude, coffee in bed, a kiss before leaving the house. In the long run, this is the essence of marriage, a series of small and daily events and gestures. Always keep in mind to be polite. Treat your wife diplomatically. Kindness is as important to marriage as fuel is to an engine. Rudeness is the cancer that gnaws at feelings of love. Everyone knows this, and still we are more polite towards strangers than towards our own relatives. We dare to insult our family members, who are the closest and dearest to us, to speak bluntly about their flaws without thinking twice. The real but amazing thing, the only people who feel free to speak badly to us and insult us, are the people most close to us. If you came home after a hard day at work, your boss scolded you, an important deal was lost, do not throw it all at your spouse. In Holland, it is a habit to leave your shoes on the doorstep when you enter the house. And no doubt we can learn from the Dutch. Leave your troubles that have accumulated during the workday on the doorstep. After all, your family members are not a punching bag. And true, it sounds a lot easier said than done, but like everything in life, you need to work on it. I'm pretty sure you did not achieve anything important in your life easily and without putting effort. After all, you do invest in your business or career. Why not invest effort in having a wonderful relationship with a satisfied woman and a peaceful home to return to happily every day? You deserve it. It's more important than even a decent financial gain. The average man leaves the important thing in his life to chance. He wins or loses, all depending on his luck. Little is the number of men who invest some real thought or make some effort to make their marriage successful. So I send you to invest in your loved ones. It will pay off for you in the end. And always remember, success in marriage is much more than finding the right person. You will succeed in marriage if you too will be the right person. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to keep updated with everything new. Thank you and stay tuned.